Hi YouTube. It's Brianna here. Sorry, the weather's changing, so I guess I'm having maybe some minor allergy issues. And I know I look really bad, but I'm about to go into work and we have to have our hair pulled back. So that is the reason why I look the way I do. But there's just been a lot of today has been such an overwhelming day for me in such a good way. And I thought that I should share it with you guys. Um, in case you don't know, I had my second nursing school test yesterday, which this week is the week after my spring break. And I was kind of nervous. I was really nervous actually because the test was over critical thinking, the nursing process, documentation, communication, and I feel like there was something else, and culture. That was pretty much the only 5 topics on the test. And I was really nervous because I did not study a lot at all this time. And I made excuses for myself that, critical thinking and the nursing process are too hard to study. You can't really study that. You just have to learn it. But that was an excuse, and that's definitely wrong. I mean, obviously, you can study information that you're given because towards like the last couple of days before the test, I started realizing the resources that I had and all of the notes and PowerPoints and stuff like that. So I did study hard a couple days before the test, and going into the test, I was really nervous. But waking up on test day in the morning, I was not on the verge of tears and I was not freaking out. It was just this weird, sorry, the train's going by. It was weird, I didn't feel good about that day, but I didn't feel bad about it either. Like, I wasn't going to worry. And, so I think it was definitely the peace of God. God was giving me peace for that test day and helping me to be strong, because I know that a lot of my other classmates were really really scared about it too, and they were freaking out. So someone has to be strong, right? So I went into the test and I logged in and I got to about question number 5, and everyone else was having trouble logging into their tests, so the teacher made us all exit, escape, do whatever, and then redo it, restart it. So I was kind of upset about that, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if that throws me off? But it didn't, because the computer ended up saving my 5 answered questions, which was good. Because all of our tests are on the computer, which is definitely a lot harder, I think, than paper tests, but so be it. I can't change that. So when I walked out of the test, I was not as confident as I was about the first test. When I walked out of the first test, I knew that I was definitely over-prepared and I knew exactly what I got right on the test. Well, for this one, it wasn't really the same way. And when the teacher walked back into the classroom after the test, because we have a 2-hour lecture every time that we have a test afterwards. So the teacher walked into the room and he said that he did a quick glance at all of the grades and they did not look very good at all. So that made me really scared and really anxious, because I've heard that before. I heard it last semester, and when I heard it last semester, that means I failed epically, and so did the rest of the class. So he said because the grades were so bad, he was going to try and put the grades up that night, which is a first, because they never put grades up on the first day. And he said, he gave us the whole speech about, it's midterms, and those of you who are not passing the class should consider dropping out so it doesn't affect your grade or whatever. And I've heard that before too. In fact, my teacher approached me last semester personally, like in private, to talk about that. And she was like, if I were you, I would consider dropping out. And I didn't listen to her. I decided to continue the rest of the semester, and I failed by 2 points at the end of the final. And then she had called me after the final to personally tell me that I failed, which was very hard. But so I've heard those words before, and that made me really nervous. But that day I got my grade back after I went to a counseling appointment, and sorry. I got a 92 on my test, and I was not expecting that at all. I was over the moon about my grade. I was relieved. I was in shock. I was thanking God for my test grade, because I was not expecting myself to do that well on it. And I know you're probably thinking, well, she did it last semester, so she has an advantage, but that's not the case. They switched up the chapters this time, so every test is different material compared to last semester, so it's not the same order. If you ask me, is it the same questions? I don't really remember if it's the same questions, because obviously I didn't memorize the questions. I didn't do very well last semester, and I remembered that on test days last semester, I would wake up, I would get out of bed, and immediately just be on the verge of tears or crying, because like I knew that I was in trouble. I knew that something bad was going to happen because I didn't study last semester. I didn't prepare myself at all, and I do regret that, but I learned the hard way, and it takes a lot of studying. Like, I know some people in my class now who are very hard workers and they try really hard are still not doing as well as they want to. So they're talking to me and they're like, oh, well, maybe I should start studying every day now, or maybe I should join a study group. And that's right. I mean, you should have started that from day one, you know, because last semester I didn't do any of that. And now I've learned that for nursing school, you have to study every single day. You have to study at least 2 hours every single day, or you're not going to pass. I studied the week before a test, and I didn't pass. I studied 3 days before a test, and I didn't pass. You have to study and make it a habit every single day to study and pass your test. And you have to get in that attitude, that mindset of, I'm going to be a nurse, and I have to think like a nurse. And it makes me so aggravated when people, underclassmen or freshmen or people who come to college and they're like, they want to be a nurse or they want to go to nursing school. No offense, I'm pretty sure I was just like this when I was their age too, but they're like, is nursing school hard? Yeah, it's hard. Do you have to study a lot? Yes, you have to study a lot. It's going to become your entire life. I have no friends. I have no social time because I'm always studying. I'm always in my room studying, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm sorry. They're just so blonde about it, and they're like, oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I was kind of ranting there. So that's that. I made another B. So far I made an A on the first test and a B on the second test, which is great. It is amazing. So I have a 93 in the class now. I think that's a B, maybe a high B or a low A. I'm not sure, but I'm very, very, very happy about that. And all I know is that the next test is going to be so easy. It's going to be just like the vital signs test, how it's memorizable information, it's facts, it's science, you know, it's easy to apply. So I am kind of happy about that. I think the next test is going to be urinary catheterization, health promotion, and asepsis, and then physical assessment and something else, but I don't know what that is just yet. So thank you guys for all of the support that you've given me throughout this semester and my journey. Sorry, I have like thick grossness. Sorry. One thing that I just got news of just now, I just got off the phone with my papa, and for those of you who don't know, my papa is my mom's dad, and him and I are very close. He's like my second father, or fourth or fifth, considering how many dads I've had. But he has, when I turned my teenage years, when I was a teenager, he had some retina degeneration in his eyes, and he pretty much lost his sight. So he can only see like in the peripheral, out of the corners of his eyes, and everything else is blurry. He can't drive, he can't have a job, he can't do a lot of things, and he's pretty much confined to the house every single day, which I know has got to be hard for him. And so that was really hard to go through as a child, I guess, to see someone lose their sight after knowing them for so long. Like when I was a little girl, at 5 or 6 years old, my papa always used to drive me places and take me to get ice cream, and he would take us to church on Sundays, and it was just, I guess, one of the ways we bonded, because I was always over there at their house, so he would always drive me places. And so for so many years now, he has not had sight, pretty much. And as much as the doctors have tried and worked with him, it's just nothing works. And he called me today and said that he's looking for a job and doing the interview process. I don't know what has propelled him to do that, because he knows that it's very hard for him to get a job with hardly any sight. I know you can work at like the DMV or something with if you're blind, but he was not diagnosed legally blind, but he pretty much is. And so he's trying to get a job now, and they sent him to a retina specialist. So he went to the retina specialist, and the doctor asked him, "What is one thing you miss the most?" And my papa said he misses driving. So the doctor took him into this really long hallway, like really long, and gave him these special kind of glasses with zoom in technology or whatever, and my papa said that he could see clearly to the end of the hallway, at like one of the E signs or whatever. And seriously, it just made me, I almost started crying. It was a miracle. I don't know if it's because they just never developed this kind of technology or expertise, because I know my papa has been trying for years to find a doctor that could help him, but he can see now. He has some sight, and he can drive now, which they said he needs to have 70 days worth of driving practice, and then he can get his driver's license. So I just started crying and praising God, and I'm just so thankful that it's a miracle, and I will remember this day for a very long time, that, you know, now he can semi-see and has his sight back. And he always kept telling me that he's going to come visit me in Tennessee or visit me in Kentucky, and it's just such a blessing. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys, and thank you so much for listening and watching. Subscribe, comment, have a good day. Bye.